Hello, everybody. My name is DuckBots, and it has come to my attention that I have hit 25 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you all very much for 25 subscribers. I never would have thought me and my goofy little HEXBUG YouTube channel would have ever gotten to this many subscribers. So, as a celebration, I'm gonna kind of go through every single robot I have in HEXBUG, and I'm gonna kind of show it off to you guys and explain it a little bit. If someone wants to do the math on how much this many robots would cost, I would very much appreciate it because I think, around 30 to 40 robots that I'm gonna show you guys today, and that's a lot of robots. So I guess why not just get into it? So I'm just gonna kind of reach my hand in here and just grab one. And first robot, we have Pinky. This is a robot that most of you guys have seen before if you watch my channel. This is just a Minotaur with a little egg beater. I believe this is the Team Day by Design egg beater, I believe. Credit to him for making this egg beater model. But, I just kind of made it pink, gave it a beater bar. I took out one of these forks to, maybe give it a little bit of extra ground game. But that's pretty much it. It's a fairly simple robot, nothing too special. Does decently well. Next, this is a brand new robot that I have not shown on the channel ever. This is Epilepsy Warning. Some of you may know if you've watched HEXBUG BattleBot videos in the past. This weapon right here, this is the original seizure blade from the Chaotic Robotics YouTube channel. He was nice enough to give this to me at a Norwalk Havoc event, and I kind of just 3D printed this little mount right here, and it sits in this, you can kind of see it very well, this really big motor that I just have hot glued in between the chassis. I did some cutting to kind of get it into a nice shape, but it's pretty simple actually, just a really big motor with this kind of iconic blade on the pretty standard chassis. It's very fun to drive, and it's a lot harder than you think it would with such a thin blade. It's very fun. It's one of my favorite robots. So yeah. Next. Oh, this one's not very exciting. We got Rusty. Very simple. Just one of the newer HEXBUG models. This one's been through, got to see, a lot of fights, a lot of chippage on the front and on the sides. But, all around, it's a very fun robot to use. It's fun to beat up as well. Alright, we have got, oh my goodness, you guys are going to love this one. This is the new Fina. If some of you remember, Fina was one of the most popular robots on my channel in Season 1. It was this duck with a cardboard grabber mouth that would kind of just drive around and try to grab things. This is a brand new version. It has a 3D printed mouth. This thing is solid plastic, and it is kind of just attached to the remains of this duck. It has this very nice mouth here, very nice branded mouth. I have this little stopper to kind of prevent the mouth from going all the way, and then it has these giant wheels to kind of just help it get enough traction. It's a very interesting robot. These teeth, I don't think, are really big enough to do like really good holds on other robots, but it does get the job done. It's a very effective little grabber bot, and it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite creations. So yeah, new Fina. All right, up next, we got, oh, this is a fun one. We have Whirlwax. So this is the second ever HEXBUG Melty Brain bot, if you will. The first one was a Project Liftoff mod that Chaotic Robotics did, and this is kind of just a slightly worse version of a Melty Brain. I mean, this shell is fully 3D printed and pretty solid, and then these wheels, you can see on the bottom, this is a HEXBUG rotator that I've kind of As you can see right here, I kind of just chopped off the front little weapon assembly and the other weapon assembly here. And then I created this little mounting system to kind of put it in here. But then, I mean, this thing spins. Oh, my camera's falling over. Spins pretty well. I mean, not incredibly fast, but it does get the job done. It hits decently hard. It should be a fun one to watch in the arena. Let me just fix my camera before I go into the next robot. Okay, next robot. We have Dark Matter. This is from Oof Robotics. He's a fellow HEXBUGger person. This is basically a HEXBUG tombstone. It has a Vex, really long Vex piece, and then this little Lego piece on top to kind of stabilize it slightly. And then on the bottom, I got a couple George Washingtons glued in there. And this is quite a powerful robot. It has such a heavy spinner directly driven by the actual tombstone motor. And then it ends up doing some serious damage to opponents. It can throw robots around the arena. It's pretty scary. So this is a very scary robot. Formidable opponent to face in Season 2. Alright, so next we have Under Destruction. This is the Season 0 champion of Duckbots that did not air on YouTube. Sorry about that again. But this is just a very effective and iterated upon Bronco bot. It has the back sawed off, and then it has these very low to the ground 3D printed wedges that kind of get bots scooped up right here and right onto the flipper to, flip bots as high as possible. It's very fast. It runs the blue beefy batteries, the legendary beefy batteries. And this thing is just a formidable opponent. It can get underneath you really fast, and it can flip you really fast. So, kind of a classic Duckbots staple. Alright. Another robot. We got Scrappy. This is one of the most boring robots from Season 1. I doubt very many of you remember it. It had one really funny fight where it managed to retire Muffin, which is a very OG robot. But this thing is just straight garbage. It drives terribly. This wheel is basically falling off. And this little ram plan looking thing doesn't really do much either. Kind of just a novelty robot, but, it's there. It's there. Alright, we have got another robot I have not yet shown on this channel. This is Chainsaw Kitty. This is, of course, a really big four-wheel drive vertical spinner from Norwalk Havoc. This is a Whiplash, originally a Whiplash, so you can kind of see the general Whiplash shape. So what I ended up doing to make this mod is I took out the lifter and I took these little two stabilizers right here and kind of just hot glued them to the base. I made these little 3D printed rabbit ears, and then I put this blade in between. It doesn't hit very hard. If it gets up to speed and rams at the right speed, it can flip robots sometimes. But I mean, this is kind of just an art bot, really. It's not meant to be competitive. It's just a very complex design for HEXBUG standards, and it was very fun to build. So, yeah, Chainsaw Kitty, very cool. All right, we have Electric Boogaloo, Chaotic Robotics classic here. This is kind of an updated version from the last one that competed in Season 1. It now uses a build-your-own chassis, and it has more of a durable spike instead of the thumbtack on it. And these wheels are actually made out of 3D printed TPU instead of the typical strong PLA. So these wheels are able to kind of bend a little bit, I can show you. Yeah, these wheels can kind of bend. So it's a fun robot. The bendiness of the wheels makes it kind of flex around the arena, so it's very fun. So, Boogaloo. Alright, we have, up next, we have Lort. This is just a repainted blacksmith that my sister made. doesn't really do much. You can see that this hammer is kind of on its last legs. It's hot glued on. So this thing is pretty bad. It won't really... Oh, wow, look at that. Fight too much ever again. So, you know, just a legendary bot, really. I mean, not that legendary, actually. Next, yet another robot I've not shown. Got a lot of robots here that I have not shown on this channel yet. This is Agent P. This is a 30-pound featherweight bot from Norwalk Havoc in HEXBUG form. A lot of 3D printed parts here. These little front wedges and these forks, they're all one piece 3D printed together, and I just have them hot glued onto the front. That's a very, very nice Agent P looking beaver tail. And then this is a custom Witch Doctor disc, kind of a bow tie looking disc, asymmetric bar. And it hits pretty hard. It has good drive with these, has extra traction to give better drive. There's a little bit of paper thin hot glue on each one of these wheels. And it's a fun robot. It's Perry the Platypus themed, so, you know, of course it's fun. Alright, we have got Cyclone. Major changes from the last iteration that competed in Season 1. I got a lot of complaints about it doesn't spin up that fast. It just has these, had the quarters taped on. It spins up much faster now. I figured out the hot glue mod to get these weapons to spin up a lot faster. And as you guys can see, they are now on the bottom. So it doesn't look as horrifying. This is a very, very heavy weapon blade, despite the looks of it. It does have those 3 quarters in the bottom to give it that extra weight, and it is quite powerful. It does tend to throw itself around and sometimes throw it upside down a lot, but it's a fun robot. It just causes all kinds of chaos in the arena. So this, I think, is my most viewed HEXBUG on the channel, Revenge of Mouse Mess. This one was pretty straightforward. I showed this one off. It got a lot of views. I love it so much. The one of the most popular robots at NHRL. It has this little 3D printed spike ball thingy that's attached to, I believe this is a rubber band, to this rotator base. I ended up having to chop the whole back because there's a whole second weapon blade that sits right here of the rotator off to kind of get this to work. But yeah, it's a pretty funny robot. Yeah. Next, another one of my most viewed robots. This is Ocean Man from Chaotic Robotics. Very, very powerful disc spinner. It runs this is a motor from a HEXBUG Hypershock instead of the typical Bite Force one to, you know, just give it that more speed and that more power. It's quite fast. It does hit really, really hard. So this is a very dangerous robot to face. So this is a very fun one. Very powerful vertical spinner. So I gotta kind of reach over a little bit here. We're starting to make a serious dent in this pile. But up next we've got Torment. This is from Ultimate Robotics on YouTube. He makes some really fun mods. This is one of his most known bots. This is Torment. Fairly simple, just a Witch Doctor version 1 with a custom little weapon blade. It doesn't have any wedges. It's very fast. It hits quite hard. I've seen it actually flip robots before. But it's a pretty straightforward design, and it's pretty deadly. Oh, just turned it on somehow. I do not know how I did that. Okay, there we go. Next, this is another robot I've not shown. This is my take on an Ocean Man style robot. This is Atomic Bomb. This is the far more deadlier cousin of Atomic Green from Chaotic Robotics. This one actually runs... Oh my god, my camera's falling over again. That's just great. Oh, there it goes. Okay, fix it again. Alright, so this is... It just runs a normal Bite Force motor. It's not the most powerful it can be. I do want to really beef it up at some point, but these wedges do give it some nice ground game, and it has, obviously, a really big weapon. So even though it doesn't really spin as fast as I want it to, it does have some drive issues here and then. It does, it does hit hard. Big weapons like these always hit hard. So this is a robot and a design that I kind of want to improve upon a little bit more. But it's, pretty cool. I have my own Ocean Man style bot. Alright, so another one that I have shown many times is Master. Very simple design. Just a HEXBUG Whiplash with no spinner. It's got quite a powerful lift to it. I have also changed up a lot of the visuals on this robot, made it look a lot nicer. And it's just a very strong bot. It's very fast, and it can lift robots pretty high. It's got a lot of strength in that lifter, and honestly, very feared. Should be a feared robot. It may not have a big spinner, but a control bot sometimes is all I need. So up next, this is another. Oh my camera keeps falling over. Oh, it's showing my ceiling. Wow, ceiling reveal. Look at that, guys. Crazy. Next we have Ghost. This is a giant full body spinner bot. Is a HEXBUG build your own with just a really big overhead weapon. This is a HEXBUG recreation of the first ever robot I've ever made. It was just a dumb little Lego top thing. And now I have it here in HEXBUG form, and it's really hard. They've got a 3D printed shell, and it has these two pretty big teeth on the side, and yeah, it's pretty deadly. So we're getting towards the end. Not really towards the end, but we're getting closer. We have Goo. Goo. Not much to say about this. Just has a different disc than normal Saw Blaze. And, I mean, that's pretty much it. Kind of a boring robot, but Goo. Goo. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Kind of really quickly move some robots closer to me over here. We've got Backlash Wave. I've already made a full video talking about this robot, so I don't really need to go into depth much. Saw Blaze mod, hits decently hard. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a lot of cool 3D printing on this. Yeah, pretty simple in terms of, I've showed that one off already. Alright, so let's get into the juicier stuff. We've got, from Robot Wars, we have Exterminator. This is actually kind of Exterminator 2, but, still Exterminator. As you can see, this is made from a blacksmith. I kind of just put a body around it, and I gave it this extra long hammer. I think I did really well, kind of encapsulating the Exterminator hammer. It just kind of clips onto this thing. And it's very cool. It's got good push. This is a very low to the ground and sturdy wedge. And overall, it's a pretty sturdy robot. So, we have, next up this is DinkyBot. I know this is not really a very well-known bot. This is a robot I fought back at NHRL June with my beater weight bot Sad Octopus. This is just a pretty simple fingertech beater bar robot, but made from a Minotaur. I made my own little beater bar model, and it's really not that good. I mean, it can get flipped over, it can still drive, but this thing does not hit nearly as hard as it could. Oh my goodness, they're driving over here. And it just doesn't drive very well, so this is kind of just a cool bot to have, but it's not very effective. Alright, another one. This is Chubby Unicorn, yet another NHRL bot. I sure love making these NHRL bots. Some of them are really cool. This is a Hypershock mod that has this custom little Hypershock blade. These rabbit ears kind of attached here, and then it has these nice little side guards, and it's got the Hypershock body. It has some cool little aesthetics I did to it. We got the unicorn, and we got some rainbows and stuff. It's pretty good. It's a Hypershock, so it's usually going to be pretty good, but it does struggle at times with traction. It's because these forks are very low to the ground. But, in the end, it's a pretty cool little robot, I think. I'm very proud of the aesthetics on this one. Another Robot Wars bot. This is the return of Shockwave. After the Shockgate incident on Chaotic Robotics' YouTube channel, Shockwave has returned and it has come here. Pretty simple robot. I just kind of cut the front off of the duck and printed this wedge shape, and yeah, it's Shockwave. So look out for this thing to not fall in a pit, because I don't have a pit here. Alright, so up next we have two robots at the same time. These are Ring Racer and Waxsmith. These two were gifted to me by Oof Robotics, who I mentioned earlier at NHRL. These are two goofy robots. They don't really do much. I mean, as you can see, that's all the hammer is, and this thing doesn't really spin very fast. But they're goofy, they're fun, and obviously, much thanks to Oof for giving me these. And I will feature them sometime soon. Next, we have got Astro Cookie, another robot that you guys will know very well if you've seen my channel. Very powerful tombstone mod. It was the #1 seed in DuckBots Season 1. It has a much thicker 100% infill blade this time, and a slightly different color scheme. But yes, believe it, this thing is more powerful than it was in Season 1. It has been throwing robots just completely across the box. Instead of popping itself up, it has actually been launching robots the length of my arena. And my arena is quite long compared to some other people's. So this thing is an absolute demon of weapon power. And it is very, very fun to watch fight and to fight with. And then, staying on the topic of tombstones, this is the new Imposter. Imposter was a pretty underwhelming robot in my last series, but much like Astro Cookie, this is a now 100% infill weapon blade, 3D printed, and it runs on the black and blue Arena Max Tombstone. This thing is probably harder hitting than Astro Cookie. I dare say that this may be the most powerful tombstone mod on the planet. This thing really, really hits. I have actually retired a couple of test robots that I've done. I retired the old Under Destruction with this. And this thing is just an absolute beast. Up next, we have Maximizer. This is a robot I haven't talked too much about. I kind of just did a quick video with it. But it does indeed do the tailspin. It's able to do the tailspin with this fairly small weapon. And it's a tombstone, but as you can see, it does drive backwards. And it actually does go backwards when I press the forward button on my controller. So this is one of those robots that I'm quite proud of. Yeah, I think this is a very tricky mod to pull off, because I had to kind of get a really, really long one of these and then the very short weapon in there. But yeah, this is a very, very fun robot to drive. Next, we are getting to the final couple robots here. We have very simple Witch Doctor mod. I have done a couple changes to it. I got rid of the front wedges, and I kind of gave it a much interesting looking blade with just the 2 teeth. Pretty simple, really, kind of just Torment, but with a Witch Doctor. Decently powerful, and it's pretty fun. Up next, we have got that. Yes, that. Alright, so, moving on, we have got Pineapple. This is the Whiplash Grabber Bot, inspired by Loki from Bashbots and Chaotic Robotics. It has this 3D printed arm that kind of just sits on the Whiplash thing, and it kind of chomps down and is able to hold robots in place on that scooped wedge. It's very interesting. It does do a lot better than you would think it would, with just like a little arm and no kind of bottom jaw to hold things in place, but it is a very fast and mobile robot, and it is certainly capable of just completely bullying robots around the box. So getting the last few, this is a very simple one. We have Hypershock, the Season 1 champion. It has some new orange wheels, and this weapon is a little bit beefed up. I think it actually hits harder than it did for Season 1. The drive was shattered in a practice match against, I forget who it was, but the drive was completely shattered, and I had to rebuild it using Lynx's old chassis. And yeah, this is pretty much a Frankenstein's monster Hypershock at this point, and it's going to be defending its title in Season 2. So up next we have Bong. Bong. All jokes aside, this is the actual arm used on Bong in Robot Chaos Season 7. Very kindly gifted to me by Chaotic Robotics himself. This thing is the embodiment of the memes and the entire HEXBUG community. This is a legendary robot, and rightfully so, and I am extremely proud to be the new owner of it. It's not terrible, actually. It's quite durable, and it obviously the bonger, whatever you want to call it, is decently effective. So Bong is really not a slouch anymore, to be fair. Next we have Hairdo. Getting into the final two robots. This has been a really long video, I apologize. But Hairdo changed slightly ahead. I gave it a new paint job, and it has a 3D printed disc. I don't know why I blinked for that for a second. And it's pretty much just standard Hairdo. It's got a new paint job, which I literally just said, but come on. I thought this paint job worked really well in combination with the orange. And, I mean, that's pretty much it. Hairdo. And then the last robot. We have got Murder Wasp. You may have seen this robot on BattleBot's Papercraft. At this point, I've kind of disowned this robot severely. And I would say this is more of a BattleBot's Papercraft robot than my own. It was a reserve for Season 1. It was the reserve bot in Season 1 that was never shown. It had a completely different paint job. It looked completely different. And it was available for Season 1. It never had to go in. But this is a very standard beta lifter. Kind of a more like scoop than kind of like what robots like Stingray or Complete Control have. And, I mean, come on. It has a face. You can't turn that on. So that is pretty much it. That is every robot I have. I do have these two. I have a tank chassis and a tombstone base. So if anyone in the comment section wants to give me ideas for any robot that I should make, or just any concept of a robot I should make, please go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. But that is pretty much it. I know this was a very boring video, I'm sorry, but I kind of just wanted to show off my collection to get you guys' opinions on some changes I can make or anything that I should try. But thank you for watching. So I'm going to go ahead and see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.